So responsible investment is all about investing in projects that takes into account of ESG criteria. And when we talk about this ESG criteria, we talk about projects that make financial sense, that can give return to shareholders, and yet it addresses the environmental issues, societal issues, and also promote good business practices.
Good day, Sam. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I believe JCorp is pretty much receiving or looking for a lot of investment. But how does JCorp live up to the responsibility of the investment?
I think, anyone who works for any company need to realize that money comes from two kind of category of money provider. They are either investors or they are lenders. So, in order to make sure that you have enough money to grow your business or to sustain your business, you need to continuously engage and convince both investors and lenders that you are attractive enough for them to provide money to you so you can spend money to grow the business. So, when we talk about in the era where ESG or sustainability is becoming more and more important, these are the topics that we have to start learning to communicate, as well as convince them that we are actually walking the talk. So that's why, again, if I may relate to my most recent experience together with Encik when we were going around doing these so-called roadshows to raise our sukuk bonds. When we were trying to raise AAA sukuk bonds as well as AAA plus state-granted bonds, which comes up to about 3 billion, we noticed that people are asking serious questions about ESG. So I think when we talk about ESG, this way again, being an investment holding company, we need to start defining what are the areas as well as theme when we talk about responsible investment. Because the concept of SRI, sustainable and responsible investment, become more and more important. Without being able to communicate that properly, it will be very difficult for companies to source money from investors. So responsible investment is all about investing in projects that takes into account of ESG criteria. And when we talk about this ESG criteria, we talk about projects that make financial sense, that can give return to shareholders, and yet it addresses the environmental issues, societal issues, and also promote good business practices. So it is more encompassing rather than just focusing on return. Because at the end of the day, the society have changed. We have Gen Y, who is now becoming the bulk of the population. If I may remind everybody, 71 or 72% of population in these countries are born after 1980. This is the generation that demand different things as compared to, say, the boomer generation. Also, because of that, the demands that companies are expected to become good corporate citizens. So you cannot just focus on this idea that companies exist because of shareholders. That is the 1970s thinking. People are talking about companies are supposed to have good purpose and involved in projects that create value, not just for the financial group of people. We also talk about creating value for the society as well as for the environment. So that's why when we talk about responsible investment, it has now become more challenging and even decide where and what to invest, because the sustainability element has become the forefront of the consideration whether to invest or not. And because otherwise, in the past, very easy. As long as you make money, give me money to invest, make money. But now
It's all about dollars and cents, isn't it?
that's what different. Yes. So that's why again, it also becomes a risk issue, because because that the list of requirement and criteria, have we interested or not? Will we create enough jobs? Will we contribute in terms of economic multiplier? Will we conserve the environment? So suddenly the list of questions becomes longer, and investment decision need to take all those considerations before we can actually say yes.
So basically finding the right balance focus on investment itself.
Yeah.
Not just try to make a profit all the way.
Yeah. So investment no longer about financial. In fact, it's also financial and non-financial. When we talk about disruption, where in the past, we always talk about transactions. But now we're talking about relations. Because when we talk about transactions just talk about products. Okay, I sell products to you, you pay me money, okay, that's it. But when we talk about relations, this way again, we have to move from products specifications to customer experience.